Back when Ford made heavy-duty rail trucks. Let's say hi to my buddy. I've been in there for 6 months. Again, we're at our garage and test facility. Let's see what we're rolling out today. The all-new, well, it's not really all new, kind of borrowed from another country and modified, 2019 Ford Ranger pickup truck. Sharp looking with this black paint, although it tracks heat like a magnet on a hot day. Here's the side view. It looks a bit longer than it is, especially with that short bed. And our rear view, gigantic rear taillights I've noticed. And they shipped it all the way from Michigan just for us. The first thing you're probably curious about, how much do these new trucks cost? They start around 25 grand for the base small cab 2-wheel drive. If you want 4x4, you're reaching around 30,000 bucks. I can't tell you how much this one is because, as it says on the paperwork, not for sale, etc., etc. This came direct from the factory, just for little old me, not available to little old you. However, I did some checking with all this equipment. It runs around $41,000 if I did my math right. That's what you can expect to pay for a fully loaded Ford Ranger. This window sticker doesn't have the official EPA fuel economy claims. If you look on their website, it starts at 21 city, 29 mpg on the highway. Of course, as you get 4-wheel drive, that will drop. But it doesn't really matter because if you watch my videos, we don't care what the window stickers say. We do real-world testing, and we're going to do hundreds and hundreds of miles on this to find out what the real-world fuel economy is. There's only one engine in your future if you have a Ranger, a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder turbo, putting out 270 horsepower at 5,500 RPM. Torque rating is 310 foot-pounds at 3,000 RPM. Compare this to the 3.6-liter V6 found in the Chevy Colorado. Slightly more horsepower at 308, slightly less torque at 275. So we're in good company here. If you like lots of gears in your transmission, here you go, Ford's new 10-speed automatic. Certainly don't need any more gears than that. Here you have the control knob, 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive low. In the middle you have the TM button. Press that. That's the terrain mode. Mud, sand, normal, grass, gravel, snow, modern, high-tech. If you put a tow hitch on here, you can tow up to 7,500 pounds. The bed up to 1,860 pounds, they say. Of course, there's always somebody who has a different idea as to how much gear you can fit in the back of a bed of a Ford Ranger. As we found out the other day, as I was driving by the Mexican border, and, well, let me just show you that clip. Just when you thought you'd seen everything, I didn't know it was possible for a dinky Ford Ranger to hold all this stuff. I think this guy needs to trade in this Ranger for a bigger Ford F-150. Good grief. Look at this. Let's look at the license plate and see where he's from. Sonora, Mexico. What a surprise. The ground clearance is listed at 8.4 or 8.9 inches. Although with these fancy off-road tires, it looks a bit tighter to me. We did get the FX4 off-road package, so we'll be taking it off-road to see how it performs, of course. These LED headlights look pretty sharp, and as we do in all my videos, we're going to take them out in the dark and see how they perform, and we'll just do that right now. Okay, dark enough. Let's check out these lights and see how they perform in the dark. Hey, come back on. Guess we'll have to turn them back on. Here we have the low beams on the building 100 feet away. Rather bright, good height. Here are the high beams. Looks pretty bright to me. No complaints. These happy hour accidents are really getting old. Guess we're going to have to detour for our headlight test somewhere else. Made a 2-mile detour and another happy hour crash. Unbelievable. Here we have the brights on the building 300 feet away. Kind of hard to see with all the glare from the topless strip club. In any case, go to low beam. Barely reaches out, more than adequate. Overall, I would rate these headlights excellent. Not going to get any complaints from me. Good widespread, too. I like the indicator that shows what gear you're in, too. Lights up pretty good at night. Let's take a look at the cabin and see what we've got in here. Let's go over some of the good points. We get a nice gauge cluster with lots of useful information in the little pod on the left. If you don't need information, it turns into a tachometer. For those of you who think you're doing performance driving. Pardon the glare, but it's glary outside. What can I tell you? Here, maybe if we get a sunshade. There we go. And yes, you can read the tire pressures. Comes in handy. We get a decent sized glove box among all the swirling dust you see. Can't do anything about that either. It's dusty outside. These sun visors do slide back and forth to block out the sun on a hot day. Like so. One thing I really hate on vehicles are those stupid, idiotic electronic parking brakes, the dumbest invention they've ever made. Here we get a nice, simple manual brake. Thank you, Ford, for getting it right. The climate controls, simple buttons, kind of awkward to use, but we're getting buttons, so I'm not complaining. They could be larger, though. The expensive versions of the Ranger have a push-button start-stop here, but I understand the base ones, you have to turn a key in the ignition. Doesn't bother me either way. I can live with both. Here we have some useful buttons. One that turns off the traction control, another for the locking differentials. This is the most important one. It turns off that engine start-stop. You know, like when you come to the stoplight, engine shuts off to save gas, which it really doesn't. Turn that whole system off by pressing that button. Can't do that on many of the GM vehicles. If you get on YouTube and read the car and truck magazines, a lot of the testers are bitching because, well, they say the interior is outdated. Well, maybe so, maybe not, but it works, it's simple. What else do you want in a truck? I'm not complaining. That is, I'm not complaining about the design. Now, if you need lots of room in the second row seats, you might find some complaints there. They're selling this as a mid-sized truck, as a mid-sized Nissan Frontier. No, this is a compact truck, regardless of what the specs say. It's pretty tight back here. In fact, it's pretty tight in the entire cabin, but as long as you realize this is a compact Ford Ranger, you shouldn't be complaining, right? Okay, enough show and tell. Let's hop in and do some driving and rack up some miles and get the fuel economy down the road. As we're doing all my videos, we're going to take some speed bumps and see how the suspension performs on impact. Keep in mind, talking about ride quality in a pickup truck is kind of tricky because you have short beds, long beds, single cab, double cab, big tires, small tires, two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive. You can get 15 different versions of one truck and get 15 different results. So the ride quality here on the speed bumps only pertains to this particular setup. you have a two-wheel drive small cab Ranger, it might be different. And that's just the way it is. But we're here, and the bumps are here, so let's give it a go. And we posted a security guard out here today to make sure no one's speeding over the speed bumps. They're probably going to chase me down. Oh, that was bump number 1. We're at 25 miles per hour. Here's bump number 2. A bit on the jumpy side, but what do you expect these big tires? Bump number 3. And the big nasty one. Not bad, really, considering the big tires and the everything else. It's a truck. I'm not going to bitch. The power steering feedback on this rig is pretty decent. But then again, we have the big tires. How it feels on the truck with smaller tires, I can't say, but I have no complaints with this particular rig. I don't think you will either. Even if you're an old-fashioned person that's not impressed with turbocharged engines and pickup trucks and all the gadgetry, I gotta give Ford credit. This thing does not lack power. Once it gets moving, anyway. Brake pedal's a little soft, but still stops pretty good. As much as I like this Ranger, I really don't like the black paint, which is a nightmare in hot summer desert environments. And I'll demonstrate that with my infrared thermometer. It's 96 degrees outside, and we're going to put the temperature gun on this white car. A nice cool 122.6 degrees. Here we have a red car. 130 degrees. And our lovely jet black Ford Ranger. 161 degrees. And again, it's only a mild in the 90s today. In the summertime, when it's 100 outside, it gets even worse with black paint. If you live in Alaska, where it's always nice and cool, the paint color like this won't be an issue. But if you live anywhere where the sun shines, Ford has a nice arrangement of many other colors to choose from. You might want to think about it. By the way, this truck looks really good in baby blue and bright red. This is another reason for not having a truck with black paint. If you live out in the desert, you got to wash the thing every single day to keep it clean. There we go, nice and squeaky clean again. That should last me about a day or two. I have a lot of driving experience with the Ford EcoBoost turbo engines. On the positive side, you keep your foot off the throttle. They're reasonably good as far as fuel economy goes, but if you press them hard, they'll guzzle more gas than a V8. In this case, I'm doing 19.0 mpg, nothing to complain about. We have lots of driving coming up, especially some freeway trips. So don't go away. I see dinner. Duck soup. Come here, you. Come back here. Come here. Too fast for me, I guess. We're going to take an expressway trip running around 60 miles per hour or so. See what type of fuel economy we can rack up on the gauge here. Well, that was a nice expressway trip. I'll pull over now and see what the computer says for our fuel economy. That was some slow driving. I think 24.3 is the best we're going to see. Oop, 24.2, pardon me. This is fuel economy test number 2. We'll be climbing from an elevation of 1,500 feet to 5,000 feet, approximately 60 miles. Should be interesting to see if it's better than the last figure we got. This 4-cylinder turbo does a great job of climbing these steep mountain grades. Lots of bottom end torque. On the other hand, it makes me wonder how this is going to affect fuel economy by the time we get there. Guess we'll find out soon enough. Here you go, 60 miles from 1,500 feet to 5,000 feet. Engine power is fantastic climbing the hills, no complaints there, but if you use that turbo power, you use the gas along with it. We'll have a return trip coming up, don't go away. Well, we got some ranch patrolling to do, so let's hop in the rig and do some four-wheeling. Well, we had some good off-roading video planned, but the roads are washed out, and this is just not going any further. Have to turn around for this clip. Nasty, nasty road. Sorry guys, we had some excellent off-road video planned, but the road's washed out. We're screwed. 50 bucks worth of gas, we got to turn around. It's just the way it is. We'll see if we can go around the north end. If not, we'll be back on the pavement for more fuel economy testing. Even though we weren't able to do any hardcore off-roading, we have been going on these back roads for a long, long time. Climbing a lot of ruts. I'm kind of curious what our fuel economy is going to be since I reset. We'll pull over and take a peek. 20% 4x4, 80% 2x4. Pretty rough roads, 15.6 mpg. More than reasonable. As you can see by the background, lots of roads back there we just came away from. This is an excellent off-road vehicle. Excellent ground clearance with these optional big tires, of course. Comfortable ride, absorbs impacts quite well. And this turbo 4-cylinder engine has lots of bottom end torque, great for four-wheeling, especially when combined with this 10-speed automatic transmission. Very impressive. No complaints for me. Even though I do have complaints about the road conditions that were run by the rain, but that has nothing to do with the truck now, does it? So if you're going in the sticks, the FX4 off-road package, definitely worth the extra bucks. I gotta give credit where credit's due. This little Turbo 4 is really kicking butt on these steep grades. Passing power is no problem at all. Especially with these slow, pesky BMWs. Get out of my way. Very smooth and quiet too. We got 17 miles per gallon coming uphill, 1,500 feet to 5,000 feet. We'll take a reverse trip, see what the fuel economy figures say about that. Add it up, divide by 2. Okay, highway trip going up. We got 17.0. Highway trip coming down, 21 mpg. That averages out to 19 mpg overall at 75 miles per hour. We had less than the 24 to 25 we got in the city, doing 60 to 65 miles per hour. Overall, not too bad. We were using regular fuel, not premium. It's time to wrap up this video and the 500 miles I put on this rig. Fuel economy was 15 to 19 city commuting and 19 to 25 on the highway and expressway. According to the trip computer, if you add the mileage with the person in front of me, that put 255 miles on the vehicle for a total of 755. The overall fuel economy for both drivers was 17.6 mpg. Of course, we have no idea of knowing how the other person was driving. I suspect a lot of four-wheel driving from all the mud I found underneath. But this is what it is. Take it for what you want. In any case, it's time to wrap up this video, and we're going to do that right now. After a week of driving, I can tell you the small EcoBoost 4-cylinder engine combined with the 10-speed automatic definitely outperforms the competition. There's no doubt about that. And the fuel economy is about on par for this horsepower rating. It doesn't use any more fuel than the 6 cylinders in the competition. Very impressive, and Ford is going to sell a lot of these trucks. The real question is, will the Toyota Tacoma and Nissan Frontier owners switch over to the Ford Ranger? And the answer is probably not, because you have old-fashioned truck buyers, small truck buyers, who like simplicity and reliability. With the Tacoma, you might get 300,000 miles, the Frontier not as much, maybe 200,000 miles, and that's all these owners care about. Simplicity, reliability. They're not interested in all this new technology. On the other hand, you have a new generation of potential compact small truck buyers who want the latest technology. They want the EcoBoost Turbo, they want the 10-speed automatic, all the gadgetry, and this will be the truck for them. They wouldn't be caught dead in a Toyota Tacoma or Nissan Frontier. Two different markets, two different buyers. What it amounts to is Ford is opening up a new market with a modern 21st century truck. They're going to sell an awful lot of these, whether the Toyota or Nissan guys switch over or not, and that's what counts. Overall, I really like this Ranger. I had a lot of fun in it. Hate giving it back. If you're in the market for a small/compact truck, take it out for a test drive. You'll probably like it too. Here's some videos of other trucks we've driven lately. Just click on the links and watch.